Do-do-do-do. Here we go. And let's see here. Ran out of time to add music to this thing. Okay. So let me go here. Get some things up and running. Get to my control room. That's that. And then go over here. See how TikTok is going. Really? Now I gotta log into TikTok? Okay.
Cosmetology school's trash, and I'm fed up.
Okay. Whoa, I expect that to pop up on my For You page. Okay. Go QR code. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, there we go. And Chubby Boy, you're always making me blush. Queen Felicity says, hi, nice profile pic. Thank you. Let me see. I'm late, so forgive me, but I'm always late. So let me get things started. And let's go here. One moment. Alright, so I got that going. And one more thing before I get going. 850 Big Boy says, what's good, everybody? Hey, 850 Big Boy. I really, really appreciate your comments on the last video because you are making me think on that. So I really appreciate those comments. So let's see. One more thing. What am I doing? Oh. And let me just advertise on the X and blue space, even though I don't really need it. Grab this, grab that, grab that, piss people off. Yeah, no. Same old, same old. 850 Big Boy says, late but still great. Oh, thank you. I was trying to get here, but it's back to school. I'm trying to get everything ready before school comes in, so it is what it is. Miss Cancer says, good evening, everybody. Hello. Wrestling God says, hey, hi, nice for y'all to be here. I'm going to start posting some stuff, so I'll just post there and there. Got a couple of places to advertise. Oh boy, okay. And there, and there. And Wrestling God says, random question, do you know how many defenses Dom has had with the AAA belt? He defended against Vikingo and Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano Original, which was Chad Gable, and that was on Raw. and then he has his upcoming one with El Grande Americano. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think it's like about five, um, maybe 4 or 5 title defenses with Dom. He's not like he's had a lot, and this is exactly why I'm not heaping the praises on the Undertaker like a lot of people did, because as we're going to talk about on this save point, things happened. Gwendolyn says, "Hey Gwendolyn, yeah, this just screams setup to me. I think Liv is going to accidentally cost Dom his title. To be honest, because the WWE had 2 years to do this and they didn't do it until now. Something's up. Yeah, I have a really, really big problem with it, and people are like, well, why are you hating on it? Why don't you let The Undertaker have a chance to cook? I'm like, no. I mean, I'm going to tell you, you're right, Gwendolyn, because I have that in my notes of that they had plenty of time to set this up. Like, they had end of last year, the beginning of this year's, and this is even taking into Dom's injuries into account. So, yeah. Miss Cancer says there's a breakup coming between Dom and Liv. I hope so, because it has really turned me off to the point where I don't even want to see Dom sometimes until this is over with. Like, this is really wearing on my Dom fandom, and I really hate that. It shouldn't be like that, but it's really wearing on me, and I'm getting really, really annoyed about it. Uh, um, so, before I need my notes. Give me my notes. Oh no. Okay, so let's go on and get started, shall we? So, welcome, welcome. My name is Writer Maven. I'm the Wrestling Receipts podcast, covering all things Judgment Day. Pedals them all, apparently. What's going on now, and all that implies. Um, Tonight's big question: Can Dominik Mysterio can't escape? Why am I and a lot of other people not liking what happened, which was Liv Morgan showing up to AAA right at the end of his interview with Andrea? So what are we going to be talking about um, tonight? We're going to be talking about AAA and what happened there. We're going to be talking about Liv and Stephanie's social media activity. Why we're going to be talking about word choice matters when it comes to what Becky Lynch said regarding Dom. We're going to be previewing Monday Night Raw because we finally got Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce. What he's going to be doing, what he announced for Monday Night Raw tomorrow. We are going to be talking about what I hope to happen and what I expect to happen, and how all this is tying into how I am as a Dom fan and how this channel is going to operate because of what happened. So, before I get into that, I am going to go hop over to TikTok. Queen, thank you for following me on TikTok. Jacob says Liv showing up at AAA last night was a huge surprise. I didn't want her there. Before I get into anything, I did not want her there. A lot of people did not want her there because you see how Dom operated. You notice how I wasn't even advocating for Judgment Day to really show up. Well, I wanted some people to show up there to try to go for individual titles because I think they deserve that, like a Raquel, a Roxanne, and JD. But was I actually saying that I wanted them like really integrated with Dom? Not really. This is just more for opportunities. And now that Drake Maverick is down there, I'm kind of hoping Roxanne pops up just to burst a lot of people's bubbles now at this point, because people crowed about wanting Liv down there. So okay, so now that Drake's down there, you can have Roxanne pop up there now too. Like, let's be for real and call it a spade a spade. And I just did not want it. And I had a really nice not gonna lie about this. Somebody was saying like, how come people are doom posting? And somebody responded to a not gonna lie to me saying like, hey, people remember what Liv said to Stephanie, flea infested mud huts, and how I was always equating that to be in the neighborhood of what Triple H to say to Booker T, and if you know, you know, regarding that. And how she just came in like mad at Andrea for no fucking reason, which I will get into. Like, it didn't make sense for her to be all that. So, yeah, people are not really comfortable with Liv showing up, especially how Liv has been taking over things. Like, right now, like on Monday Night Raw, she just talks over everybody. Nobody can get a word in edgewise. On AAA, Dom was actually having a promo, and until Liv showed up into that interview with Andrea, that interview was perfect for Dom. It really set up his persona, why he hooked up with El Hijo, why he hooked up with Omos and Dorian. All that was fine until Liv showed up. So yeah, people are not going to be liking it. Now you're going to have Liv Dom fans saying, "Oh, now they can go for mixed tags." Like, why would you want to go for a mixed tag? Of all things, this is that a mixed tag is like when he hadn't had the mega championship. Like, if he hadn't had this championship, then okay, fine, go for a mixed tag. But now, why would you need it? Like, after Dom loses the mega championship, I don't think he needs to be around in AAA all that longer. Because what else does he do? I mean, yeah, people can float around in AAA, but typically you want to float up to the top. So, yeah, so we're going to start talking about a lot of different stuff here. Let me go back over here to YouTube. Wrestling God said, by Kingo El Grande Dragon Lee, I think that's 3 defenses in 330 days. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's only had like 3 or 4 defenses. It's not a lot. And that's why I don't praise The Undertaker like a lot of people do. Miss Cancer says, because once I saw the AAA and I saw how she walked in, they could use Andrea to interfere or come in between Dom and Liv. Not like get with Dom, but pretty much make something or something like that. Well, with Andrea, I thought she would be involved with like Carmen Petrovich. And this is another reason why I didn't really want Liv down there, because Carmen has been eating it up in AAA. This is somewhere where Carmen can build herself up as really being intimidating and really good in AAA. This can boost her. Like how Lola Vice and being in AAA boosted herself up. So I was really wanting Carmen just to have that shine. And if they wanted to bring somebody in there, against Carmen, you could have somebody else be main roster, or maybe you could throw in a La Catalina down there, because I really think she could be doing something too. You can do something like that. Help build those women up. Liv does not need that build up. So now you got Liv glaring at Andrea, and I'm like, what? I have to get into it. I got a whole list of things to talk about, but it was just the whole thing just felt wrong for me. And this is not just because Liv showed up. It was just the way she presented herself down there. Wrestling God, Roxanne should challenge for Flammer's bet. See, that's another thing too. Like Raquel, Roxanne, they could have been down there challenging for a belt, especially Raquel, especially for Roxanne. Like, I see people saying like, well, Liv can challenge the Flammer. Like, she does not need that belt. Why would you want Liv to have the Reina de Reinas? That should be either La Catalina or somebody else. Somebody else that could need the building up. Like, you could have put Raquel down there if you didn't want to give her the IC title. You could have given that to Raquel. Or if you wanted to give that to Roxanne. Or you could give that to Bayley, because she was down there for a spell. You could have did that. You could have even given that to Lola Vice when she was running around down there, instead of being like the mixed tag. So, like the Renner to Renner should be off limits to Liv. Gwendolyn said, yeah, this had turned me away as a Liv fan too. I'm over it, maybe I'm with you. See, Gwendolyn, I know you're a Liv fan, so I'm not trying to be like so super hard on Liv where it, turns people away, because, people always accuse me of being a hater, but just coming from it from somebody that's a Dom fan, and just seeing how his booking is and how everything just gets wrapped up into Liv, it's just really, really exhausting. And just how, and like I said, how she just came in just really, really put me off. Like you got people now, on social media just be like, and I'm not gonna watch AAA anymore because that was our refuge. AAA was our refuge as a Dom fan because you could actually see him have motion. You could see him have aura. You could see him be a character that he should be in the WWE. Now, for Liv showing up, we got to worry about, does she start talking over him? Like, how does she even fit in with Dorian and Omos? Like, with Dom joining Dorian and Omos makes sense because Dorian is going up against Rey Mysterio, and Dom always joins up with people that hate his dad. That's a character trait he's always had. But now we got Liv in there. Are we just going to see her, like, hanging on him and then talking, and then you're just like, you know, is he going to stop talking? Are we going to have to see Dom translating again for Liv? Is she going to be going down there calling people putas and basura and calling somebody, saying that they are in a mud hut? Because she has said that. That's just things that Dom fans worry about. Um, Miss Cancer says, Diamond's starting to grow on me. I'm starting to be a Dominic fan. Oh, Dominic. This real member is crazy, but I'm so over the whole him and Liv things. I'm just ready to be done. And see, it's just that. Like, with Liv and Dom, you can't just go, like, all this months of them not doing anything on social media, not really interacting, and then now all of a sudden you're kicking it back in. This is why I said in my last video that it feels like they reset, because this is something that should have been happening months ago. And even with the reset, they should have been having Dom and Liv more interacting like this if they were going to do this. This feels way too late, because you're going to start them doing this now when you got Maxine and Austin Theory now. Like, the timing is just way off. Um, um, Wrestling God said, I kind of want Don to retain against El Grande just to give him 2 or 3 more defenses. At this point, he might have one. He might retain against El Grande, but he's eventually going to lose that title because El Grande is way too popular. You can't keep it off El Grande. Um, Western God says, I'm surprised they don't have a mid-card belt for the women in AAA. Mr. God says, like, I understand that Dom was a double champion at the time when he was an IC champion, but they could have had him defend on regular AAA stores. See, my thing with Dom not defending is that they could have been having Dom do more even if they didn't want him to defend the belt. They spent all that time building up El Grande, but they could have been having Dom just cutting promo even if you didn't want him down there in Mexico. See, that's the Undertaker thing. Like, people, like I said, people are praising the Undertaker, but you have to get after the Undertaker for not using Dom too. Like, what do you mean he wasn't down there for months? He could have been cutting promos. He could have been talking shit. Maybe he was getting somebody else to fight his battles for him. Like a Dom thing. They could have been doing that, but they didn't. Gwendolyn says, yeah, it's got to be done on purpose to make people frustrated with Liv. Like, this has got to be setting up Dom for finally snapping at her, which needs to happen. Yeah, that is something that needs to happen. Wrestling God says, I want Roxanne to beat Flammer and JD to get to make a AAA Latin American Championship. See, this is where JD should have been, like, in this tournament. Like, they got Damian Priest down there doing it. That they could have at least been doing the JD down there. I really don't like how he's getting excluded from these single title contention things. Like, for this Chad Gable things, JD should be in this, JD should be in the same kind of talk regarding this. And I hate that he isn't. Miss Cancer says, I just don't want Liv to be down there in AAA, period. She needs to not be down there. Let Dom be Dom and let him be frustrated about how they're booking at WWE and how they're booking in AAA. Yeah. Somebody had a point. Somebody said, like, they've heard Dom was complaining, so they sent Liv down there just because, to really hammer it home, like on what Dom has control over, something like that. Um, who is that? Sierra says, I'm a Liv Dom fan, so I'm happy with this. I've been waiting for them to go to AAA. Well, that's good for you, but on this channel, no. And I advise you, I will come out Live hard, so if you don't want to hear that, you can. I'm just going to advise you now. Banker says, what is that? Bonker said, who's challenging Perez them all? Nobody really isn't. They're just attacking everybody right now. And they ask, is Dom still with Omos? Yeah. And see, that's another thing too. Like, they should have been having like Omos and Dorian in that interview with Dom, but it is what it is. Um, Gwendolyn says, but when Liv and Dom split, she's done with AAA. I bet you amount of money she's done. She's down there when they split, and it's coming soon because they've been together for 2 years. They're stagnated now. Also, look at Dom's interviews. He said a couple of times how he's frustrated with his bookings triple WWE. Yeah, I mean, fair. I mean, he said that. Let's see. Chastain Production says, I like Liv and Dom, but I don't want Liv to be in AAA and not join Dom in his faction in AAA. See, that's fair. Like, you may, you could even say that. Like, I like Liv and Dom, but why is he down there? And like I said, this feels out of the blue because they've had months to do this. Months. Wrestle God said, it makes me nervous about how they will book Aaliyah Mysterio when they see the babes in the near future. Yeah, I mean, hopefully she does okay. I still want, like, that Guerrero girl to join up with Nom. Heading back over to TikTok before I get into what I need to get into. Jacob says, what do you think of Liv's new movie? I am not watching it because why would I watch something that's something of somebody who not exhausted me? That could be a really good movie, but I'm not watching it. She says, at this point, I don't know how she's going to defend herself. She can't even speak their language. Like, see, that's what somebody was saying too. Like, what is Liv going to say? Carmen Petrovich knows Spanish, or knows at least knows how to talk it, like conversationally. It's kind of like how El Grande is. Like, they know the language. Carmen knows the language. El Grande Americano loves the language. And with Chad Gable, the bit with him is that he didn't know the language. That's why people didn't like him. So with Liv, even in here's this thing too. Like, I would have, if you had Rhea down there, I think she would do better because she actually picked up the language of conversing with Damien, Damien and Dom. And notice how Rhea didn't do all this when she was with Dom too, like all the basura and all that stuff. Like, it's just really weird, and I just don't like how they went that direction with Liv's character. Like, why are you saying it like that? Because why are you calling somebody's mother trash? And then beat them on top of it. That's just one of those booking decisions where I don't get. Yeah, I guess Stephanie was injured, but it's just like, again, this is shades of Triple H talking to, and Booker T's feud. Like, what does she do with the language? Like, I don't want to hear, like, I don't really want to hear her speaking English down there in AAA. This is why I watch the WWE I watch it for the English translations. I know that there's going to be people that speak English, like Cartwheel Jack, and because I love me some Cartwheel Jack. Or Jack Cartwheel, I'm sorry. But, like, it just doesn't feel right. Like I'm sure, like with Finn, Finn has you know, I think his wife is Mexican. Like Finn would be going down there, and I think he would do better. Like I don't know. That's just one of those things. I get what Maisha's saying because like, what do you mean you're coming down there? You're not even knowing the language, and that's why Carmen Petrovich was selected. She knows a lot of different languages, just like El Grande Americano, and see they fit in. You see how Carmen fits in? Like she will be able to speak the language, and she doesn't seem out of place. Um, Barker says, was Liv jealous of that interview or cost that Dom did the interview? I don't know. I'm going to get into it. Let me just kind of get started because I'm just answering comments and not talking. So, like now, like she's putting out Liv Dom forever. Like, girl, like this is the social media game picking back up because, like I said, this was pointed out on that interview that they hadn't been doing all the social media blitz, and then now all of a sudden you're doing Live Dom Forever. Like you weren't even posting about Dom's loss to Danhausen. Now you're going to be picking back up with Live Dom Forever post. You see what I mean? Anyway, let me just kind of get started. Let's see. To open this up, Dom went to AAA and developed this whole separate story with El Grande Americano, Dorian Roldán, and Omos. Now Liv is down there too. Then Liv and Stephanie start arguing on social media, and somehow Dom is the subject of that. And this man cannot escape. And there's a reason why I don't like him being the subject of that, because I've talked about that before too. So tonight we're going to be, to reiterate, we're going to be talking about AAA. We're going to be talking about Liv entering Dom's story, Liv and Stephanie, how word choice matters. Did the Judgment Day story actually reset? Dirt sheet rumors, because there are some dirt sheet rumors out there. Official Raw preview, and what I want on Monday Night Raw versus what I expect. So let me play a little bit. I'm going to see where I'm at because I always have to keep quitting BioShock because it started lagging big time. So let's see where it is. Alright, so let's see where I'm at. Hopefully I'm past that. While I'm eating some shepherd pie. Or...
With his fingers now, would you believe me? If I told you a
Young
man
sir,
could
young
hoist
miss,
a
roll up and try
one-ton
to make a
sled
power
in
fucking
the air, would you believe me?
The Vox Populi are on the loose.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
Those are no flights of fancy. Those
Voxophone!
are no
Voxophone! Hear your voice from the past in the present.
Those are bigger.
Hot dogs, Alexander Hot Dogs.
One man goes into the waters of baptism, a different man comes out, born again. But who is that man who lies submerged? Perhaps that swimmer is both sinner and saint, until he is revealed onto the eyes of man.
This was the place that was lagging.
Save the day and win the prize.
Okay, let me turn it down a little bit. It's almost too loud. Okay, let me turn you down. Ooh. Turn that down. Okay. Better. Yeesh. Much better.
Have you ever
seen anything like it?
He looks so sad.
Sad? I mean, that's strong. What's there to be sad about?
Beloved spouse. Well, it's time to take back control.
Sorry, pal. The raffle is all sold out. Entrance is reserved for dignitaries and very important personages alone.
I'm guessing that don't mean me.
Dear friend, have you ever lost a penny
Give
to
me
a
one of those.
vending machine? With just a whisper, they're all ears.
Press to turn machines into allies.
What's that? Oh, right here.
What the hell was that?
Well, if it isn't Assemblyman Buford, your spot at the raffle awaits. Don't know why I didn't recognize you before. Odd. Always good to have gentlemen of your caliber at our fine fairgrounds.
Okay, so now get this all.
Heads.
Or tails.
Come on, let me through. Heads.
Or tails.
Heads.
Told you. I never find that as satisfying as I'd imagined.
Chin up. There's always next time.
I suppose there is.
That time of year already?
Has the day come so soon?
Or he'll drop you from the sky.
Okay. Let's see.
How needs competition when you have quality?
Look at that one. He looks lost.
He looks just fine to me.
Mary, you are a living, walking scandal.
My role model? Well, Lady Comstock, of course.
The prophet bless her and keep her.
There we go.
I believe all the prophets' teachings. Some people think that Lady Comstock not only designed the Colombian flag, but so every single one of them in existence. I mean, really. This little beauty?
Do-do-do-do-do.
Got any openings in the group? I'd love to bust some Vox skull.
There we go.
Madam Lutece, I have read all your books on the sciences. Mama says it's not a fit occupation for a lady, but I think she's jealous of our cleverness. Is it true that only you are allowed to visit the girl in the tower? If the lamb is lonely too, I should like to meet her, as we would have much in common. Warmest regards, Constance.
Okay, let me get over here. And I'll get into AAA. Okay, so, because I know a big event is coming up, so let me go back over here. Let's see here. It says, Gwendolyn says, no, because you can ask maybe when she knows I'm a diehard Liv fan, but I'm also sick of it. Have been, so I don't mind her going at Liv because I know where she's coming from. It's not a personal attack on Liv. No, it's not. I mean, it's just, this is a kayfabe only channel. I'm going at Liv because of what's been going on and the booking and things like that. Because I don't want to hate her. Like the distance happened between Dom and Rhea. After Rhea has been gone from Dom for a while, I began to appreciate Rhea a lot more. Because she wasn't around Dom and just beating him up all the time. And Damien too. Like, I've kind of come around to Damien too, but I still hold his feet to the fire for being a snitch, pretty much, with Dom. But it's like, I just need the separation. I need the separation. Like, let them go on their way. Let them do something else. And then so I can come back around to her. But right now, it's just like, you always see this with the lens of people always, like, you saw how many people's stories changed the minute she came back. Like, Dom's booking went to shit. Like, there's no other way, you can't talk around it. His booking went to shit. Like, and it would be one thing if they were actually presenting Liv and Dom as this power couple, as this, this ride or die and things like that. But they didn't. It was just like everything was just all Liv, where she was winning everything, and then you have Dom, Raquel, and Roxanne pretty much fall to the wayside. And then Dom couldn't even get his feud with Finn, because that somehow became about Liv. It's something kind of thing with Danhausen. Like, they injected Liv into Danhausen's story. Dom gets blamed for being involved with the women's storyline, even though he was nowhere near the women's storyline. And then she bounces and wins her match, and then Dom loses. You see what I mean? Like, it was just an unnecessary injection of Liv into Danhausen's storyline when it had been just Dom and JD handling Danhausen. And then she gets thrown in there, and then she gets pulled out so she can win. See what I mean? And who was that? I got a notification. Let me go back, because I need to see who did that. Who did that? Oh, I got a like on the screen, so thank you. I just had to see who that was. Miss Kansas said in interviews that Don said he wanted Liv to come into AAA for you. I think that was kayfabe. Like, if he wants to, fine. But, at some point, it's just like, okay, Dom, if you're just going to keep acting like this, then maybe you should just start losing everything. Russell God said, Liv should learn the language fully and at least take some classes. At the very least. Like, how are you going to be around Roxanne, Raquel, Finn, Dom, probably JD too, and not learn anything? You can be around Stephanie too. Sierra says, I think Liv knows some things because she's been friends with Raquel for so long, she probably picked up on some things. Yeah, she probably has, but if the first thing you pull out is about your mother is trash, like, like, and calling somebody a puta. Like, that's just so. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Miss Cancer said, I just don't want to live in AAA. It's just annoying. Gwendolyn says, see, the thing is that sucks is that I don't want her to get go away heat, and I'm scared of the WWE. If the WWE keeps this up, you're going to turn people against Liv so bad she's going to have to go away for a while. And that's possible too, because I know people are just annoyed right now with her. I am. Like, if I didn't have to cover her and she wasn't a part of the Judgment Day, I would not be talking about her. So let me just go ahead and get started on some what happened in AAA, because so in AAA, Dom had a sit-down interview with Andrea. Dom's interview with Andrea was originally centered on his AAA story. He discussed betraying El Grande Americano questioning whether Dom would really have his back against Paris Damal, Dom essentially arguing that Americano's doubt proved that he couldn't trust Americano. And this is where I was kind of pushed back on Dom here, because he was the one that initially pushed Americano away prior to Americano shaking Ray's hand. So this is why, you know, even though I'm a Dom fan, like, I can't just sit up there and say that Dom was in the right on that part, because he was the one that pushed El Grande Americano away first. No, it's not like El Grande Americano shook Ray's hand and then Dom felt betrayed. Like, you know, if they wanted Dom to have some sort of being in the right here, they should have had El Grande shake Ray's hand first so Dom could feel betrayed. But they didn't do that. So I always have to push back on people who say, well, Dom was right about El Grande. I'm like, how was he right about El Grande? He didn't shake El Grande's hand before Dom turned on him. Dom shoved him away first. But anyway, get back to it. He was talking about aligning himself with Dorian and Roldán and Omos, his connection with Dorian after having both his appointed parents, you know, like Marcella. Like, Marcella didn't give Dorian the GM position, she gave it to Ray. And I aspired to be Marcella when I grew up. He was talking about Triple Mania. He's talking about Americano becoming the hero of Mexico, Dom intending to destroy him as the king of luchadors, and how Americano has always become second to Dom. And then, while trash talking Americano, Dom says Americano will have the second best looking girlfriend, and this is when Liv appeared. And then this is when Liv comes in all hot, and then Dom pulls her away and out the door. Now, this is my major problem with how Liv showed up. Why are you that hot for Andrea? What did Andrea do to you? Like, you ain't even that hot for Stephanie. You're not even this hot for Becky. You weren't even that hot towards Roxanne. Like, you know, you just wrapped everything cutesy and syrupy with Roxanne and Raquel, but you ain't even that hot. So what did Andrea do to you? This is what rubbed me the wrong way. Like, why are you coming in that hot against Andrea? Are you just is this going to be like a possessive girlfriend where, like, no women could be around Dom? But if that's the case, you got Judgment Day running. See, this is that whole why AAA being in this pocket universe makes no sense and doesn't make sense, because if you're going to be running it like you're jealous, like, of Dom being around any kind of woman or something like that, then, you know, you're running around and don't have this same energy for the other women, you know, like for people you're supposedly fighting against on Raw. Like, she can talk a big game against EO when she has Raquel and Roxanne there to back her up. And then she has some fire for Stephanie, but initially before that, it was always somebody attacking Stephanie for her, like Roxanne. So it's just like, it just rubbed, the whole attitude for Liv here just rubbed me the wrong way, because Andrea hadn't done anything. This is like the first interview Andrea's had with Dom, because it would be one thing if Andrea had been having all these interviews and they've had this kind of rapport, and maybe Dom was being flirtatious, you know, being Dom the way he is, you know, do it like that. But I didn't read flirtatious from Dom. Like, maybe do it like that, where Liv will come in all hot at Andrea, but she didn't. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I have a problem with just becoming in the heart, and that's why probably somebody said that on my Not Gonna Lie regarding why they're worried about Liv down there. Because if you're gonna, like, why are you coming in all hot towards the Mexican woman? This is, and then this is when we know that you call what you said to Stephanie Mercure. So of course people are just gonna be worried about this. Like, it just doesn't feel right. And now Liv is in Dom's AAA world. But the distinction is here, until we see what happens on Monday Night Raw, Liv appearing does not equal the stories completely merged. Because Omos and Dorian have yet to appear on WWE TV. Now they can, because they're running this tournament now for Roman Reigns, but like when I would expect them to pop up, like at SummerSlam, like I was expecting maybe Omos to pop up like to help him out for that match. They didn't. So as of right now, Liv appearing does not mean that the storylines are merging. We still haven't seen Dorian getting involved with the Judgment Day or talking with the Judgment Day, or Moss involved with the Judgment Day, and Judgment Day involved in Dom's Dorian's Omos alliance. So we have to watch what happens regarding that. My problem with Liv being there, along with the attitude, is just like, this is a personal reaction, like I was saying. So this is not saying, I'm not declaring the story is objectively bad, but this is just me being personal and why I don't like it. Dom was doing just fine without Liv. AAA was the one places where Dom had his own motivations, his own enemies, his own alliances, his own branding, his own major match, and his own story, independent of Liv and the Judgment Day. And that's something I liked. Liv wasn't needed to make this interesting. Now my concern is Liv gets inserted into something Dom, Dorian, and Omos had made interesting without her. And that's my major point. Like, Dom, Omos, and Dorian was interesting. Like, and there was no Liv to be found there. So it feels like she's just coming in on the coattails of something that's already hot. Like, this would be like if, what is this? This would be like if somebody else was coming in off of a hot storyline. Like, say if, you had, it's kind of like the Chad Gable Sami Zayn thing. Like, see how Chad, he was having this nice build up for the IC title match, and then Sami Zayn came out of nowhere. And this is why people have issues with Sami Zayn, because he was, he would be inserted when he wasn't needed. It's the same thing with Liv. Like, this wasn't needed. It feels like you're just coming in on when something is already hot. Maybe AAA will probably be wrong. We'll wait on seeing this, but my interest in AAA has gone down, and I'm probably not going to be talking about it as much as pertains to Dom, unless we get like a storyline merge, or we get like Dorian and Omos and Judgment Day talking on the main roster. Going back to YouTube. Gwilla says, creative doesn't know what to do with Liv. I said this for years. They just don't know how to book her at all. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what it is, especially Triple H. I don't like him anyway, but that's why I said, like, her being all possessive now of Dom just screams that a breakup is coming, because you're not going to wait 2 years to have Liv show up. You're just not. It says, Sharia says, I think Liv showing up there is because she's going to be in the Liv and versus Dom American storyline to probably show El Grande off his game by having attacked his girlfriend and then Dom retain the belt. Well, here's the thing. It's not needed. He already has Omos and Dorian. So what? Andrea is going to get involved, and it's possible, but she hasn't really been involved in all his matches. Like, she got fired for the mask versus mask, but still, like, it's just like it's inserting her when it doesn't feel like it's necessary. 147 says Taker is on fire. That look Andre and Liv gave each other, something's going on. It's all kayfabe. Let's see what this going. Dom has stated that he is right and Liv is too. Well, I'm tired of just people telling me that just let it wait it out. Wrestlers and fans don't have that luxury of let's wait it out. And I don't care if Taker's on fire. I don't even give him praise for that, because Dom has spent months without doing anything, and you're gonna still praise Taker? You can praise Taker for the El Grande Americano build and how he is now, but when Dom was the champ, he wasn't doing anything with Dom as the champ. So I'm not just gonna sit here and say watch this all play out. And I know it's kayfabe. Like, don't accuse me of getting to, thinking past kayfabe. I know it's kayfabe. And of course, Andrea's gonna give Liv a look, because why are you gonna come in all hot looking at me like that? So, if they're gonna be using Liv to attack Andrea or something like that, so Liv gets distracted, I'm sure, fine, give Dom that one retention, and I'm sure people are gonna be mad, and it's just gonna be one thing to get Dom, Dom some heat, and then that's it. But it is what it is. Like, I don't have to necessarily want that. It's one thing to want Dorian and Omos. Like, I don't need Liv. I need Liv involved with that too. And to be honest, I'm not going to be watching that for AAA. Gwendolyn says, yeah, I'm sick of that. Let's see what happens. Look at the Judgment Day. We're supposed to keep waiting for them to turn on Liv because she's acting like a leader when everyone else gets booted. That's the thing too. Like, the Judgment Day storyline has been dragging for years at this point. It dragged so long because they were saying, well, Liv needs to be around for Finn. Okay, Liv came back and Finn, and then Finn gets booted, and then who gets the feud? Liv. Who didn't get the feud that we were expecting to get? Dom. Dom did not have any kind of epic history relished, or Dom and Finn had all this history that could have been used for their storyline, and they could have pulled the trigger last year when it made sense, and you could have had Dom and Finn fighting in, and then they could have been using their history, Judgment Day history, and even before Judgment Day. But we didn't get that, did we? No, we only got Dom with one match with the Demon at WrestleMania, and then no more. And I'm supposed to be, let's wait it out. We've been waiting it out. We've been wanting Raquel to say, stop looking at Liv, after Liv, just made it all about her. Does anything happen with that? No. Now we got Roxanne, who's dealing with this, where no title and stuff like that. Now it looks like she's probably going to be taking the pin tomorrow. And we're going to be waiting for her. JD, I've been wanting in singles title contention, but are they giving that to him? No. So I'm really tired of people just saying, let it wait out. Judgment Day has been dragged on for a long time. Even at the time of implosion or whatever. Like, even if they wanted to implode it or not, they don't pull a trigger with Judgment Day when it's needed. Like I said, they waited all this time for Liv to get back, for Dom and Finn, because people were crying that you needed Liv to be around for Finn getting kicked out, and look what happened. Dom did not get his feud. And I am going to be pissed about this to this very day, because Liv was not needed for that feud. Think of it this way. If Liv and Raquel had a feud, or was gearing up for a feud, and then Dom inserted himself, and Dom, and they took all the focus from Liv and Raquel and it went to Dom and Raquel, y'all will be crying about it too. So no, don't be telling me about, don't tell me to let things play out. I'm so sick to death of that. Like I said, a lot of wrestlers and fans don't have the luxury of let it wait out. Look at what happened with Kairi Sane and that whole storyline with Io and Asuka. Don't tell me about waiting when we have Lyra Valkyria still in the background. Now, it looks like she might still get something built up there, but she's been off for a month after the Saturday Night main event. Don't tell me about waiting when you got Blake Monroe that has yet to debut and have a match on SmackDown. Like, she hasn't had her debut match on SmackDown yet. Don't tell me about, like, how Kiana James, Julia, all those people, that, you know, they got all those women over there on SmackDown and how they're not being used. Jordan Grace, and I'm supposed to be patient about what they're going to do with Jordan Grace? Patience about what you're going to do with Kiana James? Patience about what they're going to be doing with Blake Monroe? No. Don't tell me to be patient. That has always been my most irritating thing that people could say to me. And I always say that on here. I do not like telling people to be patient. You can say, wait, we can wait and see what happens, but be patient is just to, you know, let people cook? No. Taker had enough time to cook with Liv and Dom all these months before. It's not like Liv was doing all that much in the months leading up to WrestleMania. They could have been doing something here. But no, we got Dom being a translator and getting hit. And I'm supposed to be patient. Please. Gwendolyn says, and then Liv didn't even show up for Dom either. She didn't show up to help him at SummerSlam. She didn't show up against Oba. Nah, this done. I'm over the waiting. See, that's the thing too. Like, when she should be showing up, she doesn't. Oba doesn't show up, even though she said she wanted Dom to be King of the Ring. Danhausen doesn't show up. All these other, you know, Dom and these qualifiers like Elimination Chamber doesn't show up. Like, you're supposed to be ride or die, and you're not showing up. That's the thing. It's to a point. Like, you can't be doing, you know, if you're going to be resetting Liv Dom now, like, what, like, all of a sudden now? Like, when Dom should be frustrated with his losses, because he has lost a lot, and he should be frustrated, are we going to have him now on this current Monday being all lovey-dovey with Liv, even though he's lost? And it doesn't make sense. Miss Cancer says, taking this long, it shouldn't take this long for them to kick Liv out and betray Liv or whatever they are planning doing. Sorry, the voice. The text is like really screwing up on things, so you know the typo. That's fine. Gwendolyn says, put Roxanne down together and kick Liv because of their selfish attitude. I'm sorry, I love my idol to death. Met her multiple times, but I'm over this version of Liv. 1477 said, I think Roxy is going to win Money in the Bank and cash in on Liv. JD has to be in, and there's supposed to be a mystery partner, and I think Io is coming back. Well, Judgment Day does not need to be ended. People are only saying that just because they've been dragging things out forever. They weren't saying that Judgment Day needs to be kicked last year because what was going on last year without Judgment Day? Liv wasn't there. The only thing people didn't like was that they were dragging all the tension between Dom and Finn. But nobody was saying, like, Judgment Day should be kicked last year or broken up. The problem isn't Judgment Day. The problem is the booking and how they run everything through Liv. That's the issue. If they hadn't been doing that and they were more equitable with the booking, you would not be hearing all this, like, Judgment Day needs to break up. Miss Cancer said that the crazy part about that is that they had Tatum debut on Friday, and I really don't get that. I hear that they said Charlotte advocated for Tatum, and that's cool, and that's fine, and I'm glad they have Tatum have somebody out looking out for her. But you had something that you could have locked into with Lyra, and Raw could have used some other women on there, and then you get Tatum. I mean, Tatum's spooky girl kind of works with Alexis, so I kind of get it. But then, you know, again, SmackDown is getting all these debuts, and then Raw isn't getting anything except for Sol Ruca. Glennon said, "You're not going to destroy Judgment Day. As much as people say that, it's not going to happen because too many talent would be off TV. Judgment Day doesn't need to end. It needs to be refreshed. I mean, that's all they need to do. They just need to refresh the booking. That's the only problem with Judgment Day." Um... The heck? Did I lose my channel? No, no, no. Butterscotch love on TikTok. Be patient. Fuck being patient. I'm really tired of that. Don't tell me to become patient. I'm tired of people telling people to be patient. No, 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 no. I will not be telling people to be patient. Like, Raquel just got something. I'm supposed to be patient for her? Please. She could have been at something. And this Roman thing, loser. Well, loser this, buddy. You're getting banned. See ya, and I wouldn't want to be you. The man says we can be impatient. See, that's the thing too. If you Joanna says, if you destroy the Judgment Day, what are you going to realistically do with JD and Dom? Look at the booking. Where are you going to do with Raquel? Those three with the loss in the mid card, Roxy too even. But see, where does Dom fit? Dom doesn't have any trajectory in the main event scene right now. You see what they're doing with Braun Breaker? They instantly tied him back to Omos. But what is Dom? What's he doing? Where would he go? You can say he can win Money in the Bank. Okay, but let's stop. You got to think about where all these people would go. And I got a 10 spot. Ooh. Super chat from Foxy Bells. Judgment Day is dominated by the women. Dom is more Liv's accessory than a leader in the men's division. Dom and JD getting attacked by many houses summed up perfectly where Dom and JD since they left. And see, I'm gonna like that, because, I mean, it's right. I mean, it is dominated by women, but see, this is the thing, too. While Liv and Dom were, while Liv has all her stuff set up for, like, for her next feuds, Dom has what? And again, this is what I'm saying, like, I'm not even sure Omos and Dorian even come up to Raw, because what would you do with them? Like, what is Dom's feud? Are you just going to have Omos and Dorian come up just to be intimidating? Dom doesn't even have a feud. And I can't even say that he's going to be feuding again with Chad Gable, because Chad Gable pinned him with a suplex. So, you know, this is the issue with Dom here. And like the man said, we can be impatient. I'm not sure why people think that we need to wait on Triple H's booking or Triple H's ass for everything to line up perfectly. You can be impatient. If the booking sucks up into the big reveal, then when the big reveal happens, it's not going to hit right. SummerSlam 2024 hit right because everything was building up perfectly. Nothing was being dragged out too late. Now, you just got lived on going on for no reason. You got Dom not having any kind of major feud. JD is flopping in the wind. But Liv has her has her storyline built up, and Raquel has something built up too. Might be the Money in the Bank winner, but I would not put it past them not to give Roxanne that Money in the Bank. I am dead serious. And like I said, I would not be surprised if they wrap all this back around to WrestleMania next year again. Miss Cancer says, I get what you guys are saying, that you guys don't think Judgment Day needs to end. Well, they need to figure something out, because at this point I'm completely over Judgment Day. See, that's the thing. I mean, you're going to be over Judgment Day just because they don't pull triggers. They need to pull triggers. It doesn't even have to be like somebody being betrayed or kicked out. Just pull a damn trigger. Pull out like there's a secret. Pull out that there's something else going on. Things like that. Gwendolyn says, oh yeah, he could win Money in the Bank, but guess what? They're probably going to have him lose, and then what? He's back at the bottom. See? That's again thing too. If just him winning Money in the Bank doesn't guarantee anything. He could be treated like Austin Theory when he was Money in the Bank. You see how he was treated when he had Money in the Bank? Like, he was getting beaten up by Roman, smacked by the Usos. Like, just because he could win Money in the Bank doesn't guarantee that everything will be just hunky-dory dandy. The man has sent star for 2 jewels. Thank you. Fuzzy Bella said, Don should be on his own, having awesome matches against AAA wrestlers, doing crosswrestlers. Don could be much more bigger and totally being wasted. I'm going to say, I do believe that too, but I will say that Dom can't stay in AAA forever. People always just say that Dom should just be staying in AAA. He's going to eventually have to come back up to the main roster, and he's still going to do something. So until the main roster booking changes, then, all his booking in AAA won't help much. But I do think that he should be doing more in AAA, or he should have been doing more in AAA, but that's neither here nor there. Until his main roster booking changes, then it's still going to suck for him. The man said, Liv Dom made sense 2 years ago. They don't make sense now. See, yeah, like they stopped making sense last year after Survivor Series, actually. Y'all are doing some fire comments. I can barely play the game. Gwendolyn says, yeah, at this point, when they turn on Liv, instead of a big pop, it's going to be, thank God this is over, which was the big moment, and instead it's a relief that it's over. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see, what else am I going to talk about here? Fuzzy says, no, I meant Raw and SmackDown having AAA wrestlers coming up to WWE doing crossovers. See, that would do something, sorry, that would make sense too. And I agree with that, Fuzzy. Like, they could have been having a Cartwheel Jack, or Jack Cartwheel. Ooh, I want Jack Cartwheel. He is so cool. I actually see, what Liv popping up on AAA last night kind of took away from everything else I was enjoying about AAA, which was Jack Cartwheel against Noisy Face. That was so... I just love Jack Cartwheel. And then we had Psycho Clown, and then Jake Maverick, which is Roxanne's boyfriend, just pretty much annihilated him. So, what's his face? The Power Ranger wrestler, Luchador. Fiscal. Looking like Judge Dredd in his gear. He won. But, Psycho Clan has that gnarly face peeling mask, and then Drake's character pretty much ripped that mask off of Psycho Clown, and I'm really excited for that. I hope he does really well. So I'm hoping we get... So that is what I really enjoyed about AAA. And I kind of am liking Perez tomorrow. I think Flammer needs to drop that belt already. I think that just needs to kind of go to like Candelina. Like, I don't need that to be Liv. Again, This is probably be the last time I'll bring up Liv versus Lacey Trille, but that just needs to be La Canalina. The title be refreshed because Flammer has been holding that for a long time. But I do love Lady Shiva's look. Oh my gosh, her look, her gear. This is that kind of the gear that needs to be on the main roster because I absolutely love Lady Shiva's gear. That gold, just, you know, I when people hit the gear, like Roxanne has been having gear that's been looking great. Raquel, Roxanne, and Lady Shiva, they've been having some really awesome looking gear that's been hitting it out the park. But I just love Lady Shiva's gear. That just makes me happy. When people have some really good gear, it makes me happy. So let's go here. Oh, Fuzzy Bell says subscribe. Thank you. Oh, and on TikTok, I'm almost at 1,500 subscribers over there. So yay. Let me go back into. I'm just talking so much. I need to play. I really do. I really need to play. So let me play some more. I need to just kind of get going so I can start fighting on this game. I've been doing way too much.
What the?
Y'all have been doing some really fire comments, except for the trolls, but of course I gotta deal with trolls.
Officially begun!
Hey, Mister!
Oh boy, here it comes.
Sorry, no sale.
Silly? There's never a charge for the raffle. You've been sleeping under a rock?
77.
77. That's a lucky number. I'll be rooting for you.
Bring me the bowl! Is that not the prettiest young white girl in all of Colombia? All right, then. The winner is number 77.
Well, what do you know?
You shouldn't have got it.
Over here, he's the winner.
Number 77, come and claim your prize. First throw.
That's not.
Please don't do this.
It was me. It was all me. Please. Please. No. Please, what are you doing?
Nope.
Are you gonna throw it? Or are you
Hell
taking
no.
your coffee black these days?
You know what? I should play Mafia 3.
Oh, looks like we've got a shy one here.
Got something for you, son
We've got to
of a
do
bitch.
something. Wait.
It's him.
Now, where'd you get that brand, boy? Don't you know that makes you the backstabbing snake in the grass false shepherd?
And we ain't letting no false shepherd into our flock. Show them what we got planned, boys.
Ooh! Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Stop him! Stop him! The full serpent's got the
Yeah,
lead on
I got that.
Disconnect!
Okay, so I forgot how gory this game is. Okay. But it's a very cathartic game, though. Where are you at? Yep, there you are. Okay. Yep, I forgot how gory this game. Okay, cool. Gotta come up now.
I told you, Comstock. You sell 'em paradise, and the customers expect cherubs for every chore. No menials in God's kingdom. Well, I have a man in Georgia who'll lease us as many Negro convicts as you can board. Why, you can say they're simple souls in penance for rising above their station. Whatever eases your conscience, I suppose.
Right. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Look at the melee. Hate this pistol. And start slowing down now. Alright. Yeah, I forgot how good this was. Yep. So going back to this, 1477 said, I just thought of something for Soul's mystery partner tomorrow night. If it's not going to be EO bringing her partner, maybe Rhea would get loyal advice. Ronnie's first blood for the women's division. What happened to Lyra? Miss Kemper said Lyra's a heel and they're making her psycho. Yeah. Gwendolyn says the Raw division is bad. Like, it's backwards. Fans are going to get sick of Becky again and turn on her like they did the last time. Fans are cheering Liv against EO. Got to turn her at some point. Sierra says Lola Vice isn't going to be on Raw. She's going to be on SmackDown since Damien's over there because WWE like to keep couples together. And, well, you can think that, but they got Tatum over there when we were thinking she's going to Raw, so who knows? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Damien pops up on Raw. If they wanted to do something, like, after he loses the tag team titles or something like that, they could do that. Fuzzy Boss says, I want more Raquel and Rhea matches when Rhea's healthy. They have such great matches. They do. They just need to let Raquel win. I really didn't like how Rhea would keep winning all these matches, even though Raquel is supposedly stronger than Rhea. So Raquel really needs to win one of these matches with Rhea. Glenn says, one thing I've noticed is how bad the WWE has gone with building stars. They keep trying to manufacture stars, and they fail to realize that that's organic. The fans make the stars, not the company. Yep. They also said, look at Punk, he's the same way I am. Yet he rubs people the wrong way, but he has a personality. You can't teach someone that. You gotta teach them moves in the ring, but not that. Fuzzy's Bus says, fans already turned on Liv. The crowd reaction was overwhelming when Becky cooked her. Yeah. I mean, that was the warning thing. Like, it shouldn't be that way. Especially with Liv. I mean, yeah, you get that Liv's a heel, but it's more of, why are you doing this thing? Maisha says, I wish they wouldn't move the Money in the Bank all the way to October. Yeah. Yeah, it should have been sooner. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's proceed to check out. Okay, so Cleve said, did you see WWE censored Becky's promo about Liv? Yeah, and I'm going to talk about it. I did talk about, before I go into other things, so let me wrap up the whole AAA thing and why, this is why I was saying I didn't praise Undertaker's booking. I like what AAA was doing with Dom, but liking several weeks of booking doesn't mean Undertaker is automatically a great booker. I wanted to see where the story went. Liv could have been brought into AAA months ago. Instead, she appears after Dom has developed the King of the Luchadors identity. the Americano rivalry, the Dorian Alliance, the Omos Alliance, and the AAA directions. And that's my key issue there. Like this is she pops up after all this stuff. Like she should have been brought in months ago. My concern is don't let Liv come in now and become the center of something Dom built without her. And again, we don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to see. Note that I'm not saying being patient. I'm saying we will have to see what happens. But I'm not optimistic about how this goes. So, also, and again, I need to talk about this too. Liv's energy around Andrea. This caught my attention. Why did Liv come in so hot towards Andrea? And my immediate question is, where was this Liv with Becky and Stephanie? Those women are actually threatening her position as the women's world champion. That's why I wanted Liv to. Well, that's the Liv I wanted to see in her own champion story. Like, if you're gonna be like blowing up on Andrea, like this needed to happen with Becky and Stephanie, without Raquel and Roxanne. You know, she could still be the heel, but if you're gonna be blowing up on somebody, blow up on somebody that can be, who can fight you back. And I know it's a heel thing, but still, like, I don't get the energy towards Andrea. And to wrap things up with the whole AAA thing, this is where I am with Dom. This is probably the more personal save point discussion. I'm just exhausted with the dynamic with Liv and Dom. It's reaching the point where it's affecting my investment with Dom. Y'all know that I'm a ride or die with Dom. I'm a ride or die with Naomi. I'm a ride or die with Dom. And I love a lot of different wrestlers. But at this point, it's just reaching the point where, like, I can't enjoy Dom. I can't enjoy, like, wanting to see what's going on with him, because you got this whole Liv situation hanging around, like, and you just want things to do better for him booking wise, but it's not going to happen, at least recently. Like, I don't expect things to really turn around for Dom until maybe later on this year, around October, maybe even going into next year, if that, because it's like his booking, his character wise, he's been damaged. And you got Liv around, and then if they're still going to do the unequal booking with Liv and Dom, where Liv is getting all this, like, look at how she's getting all the attention with with Stephanie and Becky compared to Dom, like, again, like, where's his feud? Like, then it just doesn't feel like they should be together. Like, if you're going to be presenting Liv like that in AAA, then they should have been presenting like this in the WWE, where they are both getting equal booking, and they're not. This doesn't mean I'm quitting Judgment Day coverage or I'm covering anything regarding Dom. It's just that I'm gonna be covering it, but it's a kind of a point where you won't be enjoying it as much, and it'll be just like, okay, this is what happened, these are my thoughts on it, and I'm really hoping it doesn't get too deep where I don't want to go too in depth with it no more. Like, I don't want it to get to that position. But this is not going to be protect Dom at all costs. Like, I will call his ass out too. Okay, so putting AAA in the past, let's get into something else. And this is what I call word choice matters. And this is what Becky said. This is what Becky actually said on Raw prior to Netflix since taking it out. She said, so you're not even the greatest women's champion in your own group. Hell, you're not even the greatest women's champion that slept with Dominik Mysterio. What's important here is that Becky did not say women's world champion. I've had this in my comments on my last video where they were saying that this excludes Raquel and Roxanne because she was saying women's world champion. She did not say women's world champion. I have the video. I made a transcription of the video. She did not say women's world champion. She said women's champion. And people keep changing the wording when discussing the line. And changing the line wording changes the possible meaning. The argument is not Becky confirmed Roxanne slept with Dom. I'm not doing that. It's it's not even saying like Becky confirmed Raquel slept with Dom or Stephanie slept with Dom. This is not it. Becky's wording does not it's just that Becky's wording does not automatically exclude Roxanne and Raquel, because people went from Rhea straight to Stephanie and then skipped Raquel and Roxanne. And you probably should not be doing that just because of the proximity. You should be including everybody in this discussion. It should be Raquel, Roxanne, and Stephanie. Had Becky specifically narrowed the championship category, there'll be a stronger argument for eliminating people based on which championship they held. But she didn't. Like, if Becky had said, you're not even the best WWE women's WWE champion to sleep with Dominik, then that would eliminate Raquel, Roxanne, and Stephanie, because Stephanie wasn't a women's WWE champ. That would have been Rhea. You see what I mean? Word choice always matters, and you got to be, and that's why it invoked me thinking about what Raquel said a year ago, because Raquel said, like I said in my video this past week, Raquel said a year ago, and I have an old video about that too. She said a year ago that Dom was a habitual cheater. Now, people were just trying to say that that's all about Dom cheating in matches, but everybody knows that Dom cheats in matches. That's nothing new. But we do know that Dom cheated on Rhea to get with Liv, justified or not. And Raquel throwing in habitual cheater opens up a whole bunch of different possibilities, because if he's a habitual cheater, then you're saying that he keeps cheating. That means in matches, and that includes in relationships. And Raquel said that line a year ago. So you have to be careful. That's why you have to look at what's being said. So just keep, so don't put words in Becky's mouth. She didn't say women's world champion. She said women's champion. Going into this further, was Becky's lies intentional? We don't know that. It could be ultimately mean nothing, but something happened after Netflix removed it. The underlying idea continued on social media between Liv and Stephanie. Liv says, like, after this removed, she said, I heard Stephanie does in fact think that I'm the greatest women's world champion of all time, especially the greatest that slept with Dominik Mysterio. See, now this is where I get annoyed, because Dom is getting dragged into the women's storyline, where people start going after Dom for being inserted into the women's championship match or storyline when he wasn't doing anything. Like, he was over there talking against Chad and Penta last week. He wasn't in that ring with Becky and Stephanie. So here's Liv dragging Dom into the storyline when she doesn't need to be in the storyline. And then Stephanie says in response, the funny part is that you're actually proud of sleeping with Dom. And then Liv replies to that it's the actual funny part is that I know you want to too. So Liv is pretty much insinuating that Stephanie wants to sleep with Dom. Now, this is not the first time Liv has suggested Stephanie wanted Dom. She said that in the build to WrestleMania, if anybody remembers that. And this is not the first time Stephanie has insulted Dom. She's called Dom a trashy man in the build to WrestleMania. So this is pretty much repeating what's been going on earlier this year. And this is why I am not rooting for Dom and Stephanie, because she has talked trash about Dom. She has hit Dom and insulted Dom. Like, if you're going with the whole relationship thing, if they go that way, I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm just saying, like, can we not have somebody that hasn't insulted Dom or hit him or, insinuated that they're using him? Because Liv has insinuated that she used Dom to get to Rhea. Rhea has hit Dom, and then Stephanie has hit Dom and insulted him. The only person in this whole discussion that hasn't really done anything is Roxanne, and that's probably why the only reason why I would go in that direction, because Roxanne has been presented as somebody that, you know, has stars in her eyes regarding Dom, at least at this current juncture. But that's like if Stephanie hadn't done all this, then I would be like, okay, that's fine. But I'm just kind of over the whole women hitting Dom, talking about Dom like trash, and then they'll get with them, like just so they could get a one up on the women they're feuding with, and I'm just kind of over that. Like, no, like, if you're gonna, can we just let Dom, have somebody that doesn't do that? Or if you're gonna be continuing Dom in these relationships, can we at least have Dom show that manipulative side that Eddie did to China? Like, when is that part of Dom, Dom's tribute to Eddie's character comes out? Like, can we do something like that? Then again, like I said, Dom was not even involved with the storyline. And see, this is what happens. Liv drags Dom in, Stephanie drags Dom into the storyline, and then people get upset with Dom for being in the match when he wasn't doing anything. Like, but they don't have the same motion when Liv was inserting herself with Finn and Danhausen. See what I mean? That's what I don't like. I don't like how Dom has to sit there and take Liv being involved in his storylines and taking his storylines, but Liv will pull Dom into her storylines, and Dom gets treated like, oh, this is, the women's championship is going to be around Dom. I'm like, he wasn't even involved with that segment. This is on social media involving Dom, and it shouldn't be like that. It's just really annoying. That's one thing as a Dom fan. I really don't like how Dom just gets pulled into it, and then he gets, it's always an issue, but nobody has the same emotion when Dom's storylines get pulled, like, from him by Liv. You see what I mean? It's just annoying. His relationship is once again being used as material in a women's storyline, and then he doesn't even have to be present anymore. And then he didn't even comment on it on social media. So, like, they're saying all this. Liv and Stephanie are going back and forth on social media, and people are liking it. But Dom himself, he's not even saying anything on social media. So, it is what it is. It's just annoying. Let's see. Gwendolyn said they didn't turn on Liv. Anyone who turns burn someone like that is going to get a reaction. That's no different than me showing and burning Dom on the mic because I speak like Punk. I'm going to get a pop because his mic skills aren't up there. Fuzzy Ball says nobody believes her when she says because I'm the greatest of all time and that she's only defended it once. Claire says the thing Liv has said multiple times is that she don't care what people say about her and doesn't care if they boo her because they're not her boss and they don't pay her. Well, that's meta and not kayfabe. Gwendolyn says, yeah, that's what they call being a character. So you guys can't take every single thing they say in interviews as facts because that's where a lot of fans mess up and get worked. Fuzzy Ball says Dawes is big enough talent where he doesn't need to have a fake relationship to build him up. 1.77 says what hurt Dom was losing to Danhausen, making Dom look like a clown. He's the AAA champion. This shouldn't have happened. And that's why I was saying, like, that's why I said prior to SummerSlam, like, they were saying that this could be like protecting Dom for having this loss, and then you see what happened. I was like, they never did protect Dom in his losses. He was always losing, even when he was the Mega Championship. You would think he would get a protected loss, but he wasn't. He was losing to Oba, to Javon Evans, to like all these other people. Like, nothing was protected with Dom. So I'm not sure why people expected Dom to suddenly win against Danhausen. He wasn't protected. One person said, "Well, her Dom was losing and Housen making Dom look like a clown. He's a AAA champion. That shouldn't happen." And Gwendolyn said, "Oh yeah, I'm burned out completely at this point. I barely watch. I'm just waiting for the turn on Liv because I know it's coming. It's just dragged out into the point. It's exhausting." Fuzzy Ball said WWE made him lose. I thought JD killed one of the mini Housens. You could tell they were both bad at being there. Yeah, I mean JD had a really nice choke slam on them, so I that was actually kind of funny. But that's like the one of the only positives out of that whole situation. Gwendolyn says, "This is likely going to be end up a feud where Dom gets inserted and he has to pick a woman, which is so stupid." Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's plenty of things Liv and Stephanie and Becky can be fighting about and arguing about and not have Dom involved. This is just like low hanging fruit. Like, why is this happening? Let's see. Why is all these XDs doing? I said, when Dom was a AAA, he said 2 girlfriend. He said second best, actually. Tilly said, "Did we get more teasers tomorrow?" I don't know. Like I said, at this point, it's just like exhausting. Like, I don't even know what's going to happen. Also, regarding this, there's a Roxanne double standard going on here. Liv can tell Stephanie she wants to sleep with Dom, but look at how Liv reacted considerably less when Roxanne. You see what I mean? Like, you're saying all this stuff to Stephanie, saying that you say that Stephanie wants to sleep with Dom, but you had all this motion for Roxanne, and Roxanne has done considerably less. Like, that's that whole, like, I just don't, it doesn't make sense. Like, the storyline doesn't make sense. Like, why would you say that somebody else would want to sleep with your man? That's not a flex. Doesn't make sense, and it's not a flex. Like, what, if you know that, then you all about that, all about that base. But if you're all about it, then when you be going after Stephanie, like, I hate, see, there's that whole fighting over a man thing. Like, why would you do that? Like, it doesn't make sense. You were going after Roxanne, who didn't do a lot regarding Dom. But with Stephanie, you're insinuating that she wants to sleep with Dom, and you're just kind of joking about it. Like, the whole storyline just does not make sense at all. I just don't, be realistic about it. If you're gonna be fighting, just let them fight. Do something. If you're gonna be fighting over the man, just start having her fight over the man. That would make more sense than just be trying to joke about, her sleeping with Dom. Like, is this different circumstances? Is Liv more threatened by Roxanne because she's actually inside the Judgment Day? Or is there something else we're supposed to notice? But this is a wild hair theory. I'm not saying it's going to be true. I'm not saying it's come to pass or that I'm seeing the signs of it. But this is just my current wild hair theory. What if Liv gets so focused on Stephanie and thinking that Stephanie is after Dom that she ignores Roxanne? Like, she slips up. Like, she's, all about thinking that Stephanie is all about Dom, wants to sleep with Dom, all that. And she focuses all her attention back on Stephanie, that she ignores the actual threat coming inside Judgment Day and Roxanne. You see what I mean? That's my current wild hair theory. I'm not saying it's going to come to pass. I'm not saying it's going to happen or even that I want it to happen at this point. I just need some trigger pulls. Like, give me a trigger pull. A trigger pull is a trigger pull. Whatever they decide to do, just go on and do it. But it'd be interesting if that's the direction they take. Like, if it's just like they, Stephanie, Liv does all that with Stephanie, but then she starts ignoring Roxanne, because there's a distinct possibility with Roxanne, because look at what's going on between Liv, Roxanne, and Raquel. Hmm? You gotta keep it low. Put your headphones on. Um, 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 um. Fuzzy Ball says Bret Hart never needed a fake girlfriend. It's lazy storytelling. Well, when it comes to Dom, they just don't put nothing else into it. Like, there's so many different ways they can go with this. They can go with Eddie and China route, where Eddie was just being a complete horror to China. You could do something like that. It doesn't need to be something of just women fighting over Dom. And then Dom having no agency. The thing is with this is, like, Dom has no agency with the feud. Like, have him have some agency. Don't just have him be, like, pulled along by the nose just because it's another woman. Let him make a decision. Let him be an asshole. Like, let him be, go into that darker part of Eddie Guerrero's character work, where you could, it starts working it that way. There's different ways you can do the storyline. It doesn't have to be like Liv is over here, Stephanie's over here, Roxanne's over here, and then, they're just all going for Dom, and he has no, agency about it. That's my irritation about it. Gwendolyn says, and watch us get frustrated because they pick Stephanie of all people instead of Roxanne, which is the logical choice. See, that's another thing too, because Roxanne has been built, or at least the clues have been there. Stephanie here, you just have Stephanie insulting Dom and hitting Dom, and then, oh, here we go together. Like, what? Like, you at least, if they're going to be doing Stephanie and Dom, that needs to be built. I don't know if they're going to do that, but it just seems. You see what I mean? Like, there's just so many different ways they could do things, and they don't do it. Tori says, I'm a Stephanie and Dom fan, and I know about this with Judgment Day, period. Kara said, I think the WWE might keep Liv and Dom together because they had time to get Roxanne and Dom together when Liv was out injured, but they had nothing. But when Liv got there, she said nothing happened. But, I mean, yeah, she said nothing happened, because why would you admit that something happened? But still, they had plenty of time to pull the trigger on Finn and Dom too, but did they do it? No. They waited till Liv get back. So that I can't really say that they had all this time to set up Roxanne and Dom. They had some clues there. It's just what it is. Clues and breadcrumbs. And like I said, breadcrumbs usually make a loaf. But they had some things there. But like I said, just because they didn't pull the trigger on Roxanne and Dom because they had all this time doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything, because they had all the time in the world to do Dom and Finn, and they didn't do that either. And at this point, there's no point to keeping Liv and Dom together. They've exhausted everything short of a wedding, which is something they should have probably did when they were in Vegas. Like, short of that, there's nothing else they can do. What else are they going to do? Like, matching Money in the Bank? Liv doesn't need that right now. She's still got the title. Like, what else can they do? Like, with Edge and Lita, Liv was, see, if they were going like Edge, Lita, like even a PG rated version of Edge and Lita, Lita was out there doing stuff for Edge, and Edge was out there doing stuff for Lita. Like, Edge, Edge would let Lita take a hit, but he was even out there like spearing Candice, Michelle, attacking Mickie James, attacking Trish Stratus. He would be out there doing stuff for Lita too, and we don't get that with Liv and Dom. See, if they had kept up some kind of version of that, then yeah, I could kind of see them staying together for a little bit. But they don't do that. Like right now, Maxine and Austin are doing a lot more because Austin is out there actually defending her man and working her man and, doing things to make sure that Austin gets the win. Maxine is doing a hell of a lot more than Liv at this point. Like, she be out there distracting, doing stuff, ensuring Austin Theory gets the win. Like, I fully expect Maxine to be out there tomorrow when Austin has his match against Akira and they start fighting. You know, she's going to be out there trying to help her man. Liv does not do that. Or doesn't do it a lot. Let me see here. Let's see here. Fuzzy says, "What I don't get there are really real life WWE couples. Why make fake couples? Because it's wrestling, and that's how it's always. There's gonna be fake couple with wrestling. That's how it has been from the beginning. So it's kayfabe. I mean, there's not a lot of kayfabe left, but that's just how it is." Fuzzy Ball says the Punk AJ Lee Seth and Becky was a firestorm. Like, that's because they actually let that work. I mean, they actually built it. They actually put some energy into it. That's because it works. I mean, they don't put that effort into Liv and Dom. They might be doing it now, but it feels too little too late. Gwendolyn says, Fuzzy Balls, because it sells a lot. It's no different than the WWE signing me up the injuries and they put me with Blake. Why? Because it makes money. It's that simple. 147 says that Roxy is a 2-time NXT champion. They called her and they haven't done anything with her except getting beat all the time. Well, Blake Monroe hasn't even won, so that's just par for the course for a lot of the women right now. Fuzzy says, "It's run its course. It's time for him to step up and be his old man. A wedding would be so disrespectful to Dom's real wife." I don't like bringing up Dom's real wife because it's been stated what she likes and doesn't like, and that's real world. I wouldn't say that's being disrespectful to his wife if they go that direction. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, I would say a lot more stuff would be more disrespectful than a wedding at this juncture when it comes to Dom. Like, a wedding is tame compared to a lot of other things. Back on TikTok, oh, the bitch says the texture shit. That was what I was looking at. The one person, Liv and Dom. Khalif said, "Liv and Dom fighting for the mixed tag in AAA. I don't want that to happen because that needs to be to somebody that needs to be built up. That's just my take on that." But she says she could say that, but they've been talking and the matching clothes and the headband and Roxanne. Yeah. Khalif said Liv and said that Austin and Maxine don't like each other. Yeah, I mean, she says that, but then she don't even, like I said, she's not even out there to defend her own man when he's out there in a match. Like, you say all that, and then you're not even out there. Willow says that I'm ready for Liv to step up and defend her. Stop using the group and being fighting champion. Fuzzy says, like, Lena's wedding. I was thinking more, yeah, that one was mad disrespectful. That one was horrible. But there's also some really good weddings like Index, which I absolutely love. And I think they're doing something this Monday. Dexter and Indy. They're doing something this Monday. I need to see what they're doing. But I absolutely loved Index. Because that was a wedding that actually had no shenanigans because Dexter flashed his axe. But you actually had some growth in that wedding. You had Dexter say his first words to Indy, and that's like saying "I do" to her. Like, he hadn't spoken the entire time in NXT when he and Indy got married, but the first words he said out loud into a mic was "I do" to Indy. Like that's just awesome writing right there. Awesome booking. Because that wedding went without a hitch. Because they were all really cool, and I really hate that they never did capitalize on Index, because that was a really great storyline with Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, because that dude was just a goober in in uh in NXT, because Dexter kidnapped him like right when they were about to come out, like out of the like out for their match, and then Dexter kidnaps Austin Theory. If you actually get a chance to go back and watch the whole Index storyline, do that. It's amazing, but it's just like that was just great stuff. That's a wedding, like, and we're actually due for another wedding. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a wedding sometime in the future. But it's just like that's something that actually helps the character. Now, if they fail to capitalize on it, that's on booking, and that's what happened with Dexter and Indy and Johnny and Candice and Austin. Like, they could have been a really cool wrestling, Johnny wrestling, that could have been a nice, really wrestling family, and they could have been doing stuff, but they didn't do it. So, Jake says, what do you think Liz should do after she drops the title? I don't know. Take a break. I don't know. I'm so serious. Gwendolyn said, yeah, that would be awesome. Like, I don't know what the heck they were thinking of doing the story like that. Like Liv goes away, people are excited for her return, and you hype her up like that. Yeah, that was, I don't know what they were thinking with that, but that was Vince McMahon all the way through. Where was I on this? Was I on BioShock? Let me actually see if I can get to another section in BioShock. I was going to talk about the Judgment Day actually reset, but I've already kind of talked about that, so I will just say that, like I said, I won't be surprised if this wraps all the way back around to WrestleMania. Because I really think they were going to do the clawback at SummerSlam, but they didn't do it. And so right now, I can't even say that all these major beats, all these major trigger pulls that should be happening will happen at these major events. Like, there was a time where you at least think that something major would happen, like at a WrestleMania or, these major PLEs, but they didn't do it. So now I can't even say that. So, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this wraps all the way back around to WrestleMania. But before I get back into BioShock, this is Dirt Sheet Corner. There's two Dirt Sheet things coming around. Dom being frustrated with his booking, and Roxanne leaving Judgment Day at or after SummerSlam. Take both of these with a huge grain of salt. Dirt sheets are dirt sheets. They do a lot of conjecture, and they get a lot of information from like some sources that like to verify, like a Fightful or a PW Insider. So, but just take it with a huge game of salt, because the one of the rumors they were talking about was Roxanne leaving Judgment Day at SummerSlam. The only problem is with that, Roxanne just helped Raquel win the IC title. If she had not helped Raquel win, and if she had cost Raquel the title instead of helping her win it, then I could see, some truth to that rumor. But she helped Raquel, so that intends to me that she's going to be in the Judgment Day for a while. Does it mean that she could leave in the future? Yeah. But, that rumor kind of is negated with what happened between Raquel and Roxanne and helping Raquel win the title. And Dom being frustrated, he said that in independent interviews. That's out there. Like, that's not even just like, rumors are around that Dom's frustrated. He said that in an interview, like an independent interview. So that's, again, that's just something he said on his own. So, like I said, dirt sheets, everything, keep with a huge grain of salt. If you want a dirt sheet that you can kind of believe, and even then take it with a huge grain of salt, because things can change. If you want some news that you can reasonably that you'll be sure about, Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful. that's like the only dirt sheet. I actually pay for the $5 or what $5.99 subscription because it gives me spoilers about Raw and SmackDown rundowns and things like that, like for AEW too. And he talks a lot and he answers a lot. So, but he at least verifies his information or at least tries to. So with Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful, if you see it coming from Fightful, and that includes injury stuff too, by the way. If you look at that, then you can be reasonably sure that they at least tried to verify the information. PWI is actually pretty good with that too. I put them on a lesser scale, but those you can kind of, you can kind of believe, but again, take it with a huge grain of salt. All these other ones, like Dave Meltzer got to a hot streak, and then again, he does a lot of double speak. Like first they were doing this, and then now they're doing this, and then here this, that. Like Dave Meltzer, I don't really believe. I got burned on Dave Meltzer because he said Dom was going to be out for injury for a long time, like 2-3 years ago, and ended up not being there. So I was like, you know what? I don't believe Dave Meltzer. And like all these others, like these self-made, like there's another one, like self-made was trying to say something. If that's with Ibu and stuff like that, no, I don't believe that. So you just have to take the dirt sheets with a huge grain of salt. Don't believe them. Don't believe everything you read on that. It could be true, but again, you got to be careful with it. I just said they said it was supposed to happen, but I don't think that was the plan. I mean, it could have been the plan, but it didn't happen. And again, that's something that what happened at SummerSlam contradicted what they're putting out there. So I'm not even sure why they would put that out. Like why are you putting out? Well, Roxanne was supposed to leave. Okay, but we're at past SummerSlam now. Like, what's the point of putting that out? Fuzzy Ball says, will Liv defend her title again before Rhea returns? Rhea's going to be out for at least 6 or probably like 3 to 6 months, so she probably will. Bonker said, Rhea not back, she had surgery. Gwendolyn says, oh god, I hope not. War Games is coming up soon. Have Roxy win the title off Liv and Team Liv versus Team Roxanne in War Games. Yeah, do something. Something needs to happen. Bonker said, nah, it's going to be Liv gets a crown jewel match up against someone if Chelsea can't do it because of injury. Yeah, like, somebody was saying that it was going to be Liv versus Chelsea Green, and that was not going to be the best match, and I kind of agree with that. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get to another section of BioShock, and then I'm going to talk about what is going to happen on Monday Night Raw, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Flush him out! It's the fireman! Fireman's out! Let him... It's the fire! He'll take care of the son... He'll take care of the son of a bitch!
Getting hot. What's going on? Vigor. Huh. That's a kiss. Well, you only live once.
a trap.
That wasn't no sample.
Okay.
See how tough you are!
Becky. Shit, right now. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's one place.
I told you, Comstock. You sell them paradise, and the customers expect cherubs for every chore. No menials in God's kingdom. Well, I have a man in charge. Who lease us as many Negro convicts as you can board. Why? Say they're simple souls in penance for rising above their station. Whatever eases your conscience, I suppose.
You're
We have company.
We do indeed.
Why are you following me?
We were already here.
Why are you following us?
Aperitif.
Health, salt.
Feel better already.
Okay, let's see here. So Gwendolyn says they already kind of had Liv's teammates found if they do it. Stephanie had issues with Raquel and Rox. Io did. Becky now, even Soul. Margaret said, Liv said Roxanne is my prodigy. Yeah, she's being really possessive about Roxanne. Gwendolyn says it doesn't matter what Liv says. If that prodigy stabs her in the back, she's no longer little Roxy. Margaret says, Sean Rock's chest, not melts. Okay, game up. Gwendolyn says, all I'm saying is that WWE doesn't pick up, if the WWE doesn't pick up the slack and do something interesting here, All In is going to blow it out of the park again, especially with Ospreay winning the title in this country. Yeah, that's true. Marcus said, what would be the War Game matchup? I don't know. Like, it's probably going to be something Bloodline related again, and I'm really tired of seeing that. And, so, I don't know. Jacob said, if Dom wins at Triple Mania, do you think that he will get close to the record if he wins at Triple Mania? Like, I don't know if they can go that far with Dom and El Grande Americano. They got people really wanting him to be champ right now. I say there's no point in trying to edge the crowd. Like, they want El Grande, they might as well just give them El Grande. Do I expect Dom to retain this first title? Probably, but like you can't just hold out the crowd like that. Mexico is a different beast than America. Let's talk about the official Monday Night Raw preview. Scrap Daddy Aaron Pierce has spoken. It's going to be Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Ruca and a partner of her choosing. Also, Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vicker will speak. Now we have things to watch for. Notice that we have nothing regarding Dom here. Nothing regarding JD. Liv, not either, but I really don't care about that. So it's just going to be, that Liv is going to be involved with the Becky thing. But Dom, we don't even know about. So who will be Soul's partner? It could be a couple of different people. It could be Io. I kind of don't really want that because EO needs to kind of separate from and Liv anyway, and that's just another somebody else to fight Liv again. It could be Lola Vice. I know people are saying she would go to SmackDown because of Damien, but if Damien comes back to Raw, then that solves that problem. So it could be Lola. It could be somebody from SmackDown that they need to move, like a Jordan Grace or something like that. So there's a couple of different possibilities. I'm kind of thinking it's gonna be Lola Vice, but who knows at this point? If it's EO, if it feels like if it's just EO, it feels like that's just gonna be a letdown because they could have just announced EO. I mean, it's not like she's it's not like it's not like EO's been gone for a while and she'll be a huge surprise. So EO feels like a letdown. Also, be on the lookout for Lyra because Lyra could be around circling because she was seen in the background talking to Adam Pearce too. So Lyra could pop up as well in this match. But Raquel needs an actual women's IC ecosystem, so she needs challengers. So if they want to pop up with Soul and Lyra and maybe a Lola, then yeah, that's good for Raquel because she needs the challengers. And it gives Raquel something that belongs to Raquel rather than everything looping back to the Liv story, which is why I don't want EO in there. Like, EO shouldn't be in there. She's involved with Liv, but EO be over there messing around with Liv. Let Raquel have her own challengers. Roxanne watch. Like, this match could tell us something. Who takes the pin? Like, I'm not expecting Roxanne and Raquel to win, especially since they got this mystery partner. So, if Soul and partner win, does Roxanne eat the loss to protect Raquel? If so, when will Roxanne start getting her own journey? And this was kind of what I'm worried about. Like, you're not going to have Raquel get pinned because she's the champ. And you got Roxanne there, so it looks like she's going to take the pin. So whoever partner it is, we're lucky she didn't get a pin last week against Soul Ruca because they just did, like, no contest DQ or whatever like that. But we have to see what happens here. Does she get frustrated here? And that's another thing that kind of loops back into my theory. Like, it makes sense where it would show Roxanne, Dom, and JD getting frustrated because they're the ones that's taking a loss and absorbing the loss for the group while everybody else is just hunky-dory dandy. At least that's where it should be going, but what do I know? We kind of need Roxanne to start moving independently here. She shouldn't just be taking the pin just because they want to protect Liv and Raquel. She shouldn't be just she shouldn't just be following their instructions too. Like, something needs to develop. Like, if she gets pinned, then she needs to be allowed to do something else. Like, show her frustration, show something else going on, than just her just straight up taking up the pin because they need Soul and whoever else to be built back up. So for Becky and Stephanie, so what happens there? Does Liv interrupt? Does Becky repeat or reference the deleted Dom line? Does Stephanie reference the social media exchange? Does Dom come out? Kind of hope he doesn't. Like, I really don't need Dom out there. Like, seriously, if it's gonna be a women's feud, let Dom be far away from it. Does Roxanne get involved? Does Raquel get involved? But most importantly, people, do we see if Dom translates for Stephanie again? People are gonna be laughing at me for that, but watch. If I see Dom straight up out there after what he did on AAA, translating for Stephanie again, I'm flipping tables. So I'm so serious. Because they won't even afford, like, a translator for EO. Like, how is it that EO doesn't get a translator, but Dom has to be forced into translating for Stephanie? Makes no sense. But I would not be surprised if they have Dom come out there with Liv, because he's not announced for anything, just so he could be a translator for Stephanie. So I would not be surprised. Because if they do this again after everything that's happened again, I'm gonna be flipping tables and I'm gonna have questions. Because seriously, that's what you're gonna do with Dom. After what he did on AAA, you're gonna have Dom translate for Stephanie. So I am hoping, I am praying that he's not out there. Dom doesn't need to be out there. Just let Liv be out there. If they want to do her limited Spanish, just let her do limited Spanish and make her look like an idiot because she's a heel. Just do that. Also, we have to watch for a AAA crossover. We have to see if does commentary mention Liv being in AAA. Does Liv mention Andrea? Does Dom discuss Triple Mania? Does Dom mention Dorian? Does Dom mention Omos? Does Dorian appear or Omos appear? And does Judgment Day acknowledge the Dom's AAA alliance? We have to be on the lookout for that. See if that starts showing some crossovers. So, what do I want on Raw? Dom needs to start showing frustration over losing. Like, I don't get how he can keep going loss after loss after loss and with the losing streak he has and not show frustration. Like, he had the same thing going in 2023 going into 2024 during the whole Liv Dom thing, and he wasn't frustrated then, but he should be. Like, it doesn't make sense. How come it's Javon who can be frustrated about him? He's like, Javon gets frustrated about his loss, but Dom doesn't. That doesn't make sense. Like Javon hasn't been losing like Javon has. I mean, Javon hasn't been losing like Dom has. But Javon can show frustration, but Dom is over here like walking in the Raw, smiling with Liv. Like that's that whole disconnect there. Like Dom should be showing frustration. JD should be showing some frustration. Like they both should be showing frustration with losses and how things have been handling since dealing with Danhausen. Like, let the Danhausen loss finally affect him. Like, you don't have to mention Danhausen. You don't have to have Danhausen around. But it should be, Dom should be at least allowed to show that. Show how everything has been negatively affecting him. If you're not going to be referencing AAA, at least have him do that. Give him something to do beyond being Liv's smiling boyfriend, pretty much. And then Roxanne, she needs an individual journey. Like, let her start trying to see if she can get into this Money in the Bank qualifiers that's coming up for October. Things like that. Give her motivations beyond helping Liv and Raquel. Like, she shouldn't just be there just to take the pin and things like that. Like, she should be able to show some frustrations too, especially if she loses in this match. For Liv, Becky and Stephanie should be applying pressure, both of them, and she shouldn't be able to get away as easily. And no, she shouldn't be able to have to just have Raquel and Roxanne fight them off. Like, she should be able to, she's smart to figure something out. Let Liv actually deal with her challengers. Raquel, Soul is still pursuing her, but let the Women's IC Championship get her own story. Like I said earlier, Raquel needs her own challengers. She needs her own group. So if it's going to be Soul, Lola, Possible, or whoever, and Lyra, let that declare themselves so Raquel has some challengers. So for Soul, I think it might be Lola, but we'll have to see. Lyra has to insert herself into the Women's IC picture. And for AAA, give Dom's AAA development's consequences. But here's what I expect. This is bare minimum, so I don't get my hopes up. This is like, if this happens, I'm not building my expectations too high. What I expect to happen, Dom being a smiling boyfriend, and somehow you'll get something like Stephanie Liv said this, translating, I would not be surprised. I'm going to be flipping tables, but I would not be surprised if he's out there to translate. Roxanne gets fed to Soul and the mystery partner and possibly takes the pin to protect Raquel. Then Roxanne takes the punishment. Liv eventually appears. Liv gets that important shot in on Becky and Stephanie. Like, if Roxanne isn't taking that, then she'll be the one that's getting the hit while Liv will show up just to get a shot on Becky and Stephanie. Same old same out. Roxanne Roxanne has to do all the dirty work. I don't want it to happen, and I would love to be wrong, but I could just see that happening. But more importantly, for Raw, Dom's loss needs to, how does Dom's loss affect Dom? Not Liv. It just needs to be not Liv or not even Judgment Day. Dom. Like Dom needs to have he should be having some introspection and thinking about stuff on his own. Like he can do that without Judgment Day. Not everything needs to be tied into Judgment Day, and not everything needs to be tied into Liv. Let that happen. Does Roxanne get progression or another assignment? And did Liv entering AAA actually merge the stories? I'm kind of thinking it doesn't, because I really think they want AAA to be a pocket universe. I mean, they're kind of tying some things into NXT, but even still, NXT is not really tied into the main roster. So, yeah. So let's see here. Gwendolyn says, I bet Liv costs him again. Like, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Liv comes out there, costs, Raquel and Roxanne. Roxanne takes the pin. Because it was it was Roxanne that helped Raquel win, but then Liv will be out there costing Liv again. And it's just going to be rinse and repeat. Buzzy says it won't be Zarya. Gwendolyn says, I bet Becky interrupts Stephanie and then Liv comes out and interrupts. Yeah, that probably is too. Fuzzy says Raquel versus Last Legend or Nia Jax would be more exciting matches. I want Raquel versus Jade. They had a really cool interaction earlier this year when it was Liv and Raquel versus Jade and Jordynne Grace. I kind of want that matchup. I think that would be really cool. I think that's it. Let me see. Where am I at? Let me get past the checkpoint on this and...
You'll find that handy in a pinch.
The difference between life and death.
What was that?
Surprising.
Surprising that it worked.
Surprising that it didn't kill him.
But a magnetic repulsive field around one's body can come in handy.
If it doesn't kill you.
Effect.
Father Comstock called on me today to write his biograph. Me. The man pays for exactly 100 pages in advance. Now, I'm half a Jew when I smell silver, so I say, Father, your flock would pay for 1,000. Why settle for less? And then the prophet looks to me and says, 100 will suffice, as I know how it ends.
And worse is the insult, because today is the day that marks our secession from the Sodom below.
Whoa! Damn hook must be magnetized.
nice. Better than that. Huh, right. Okay, I think that's good enough. So Veronica says, "Oh, I'm sorry," on Twitch, saying, "Right, maybe hi there. How are you doing? First time watching. I'm watching this game. Is it free to play?" Sorry, I haven't been looking at TikTok. I'm about to end the stream too. Let me respond to that. Let's see here. Let's see. No worries. I understand, girlie. Veronica, this is BioShock Infinite. This came out a long time. Well, not really a long time ago. Like, I want to say 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. It's a part of the BioShock franchise. If you can get it on Steam at like during like one of their like winter sales or something like that, you can even get this on Xbox and PlayStation. Because I have it on PlayStation, but I actually have it on PC too. So you can get this game relatively cheap. You can get this game relatively cheap. It's called BioShock Infinite. I actually like it because it has Elizabeth, which is the girl. I haven't gotten to her yet, but when I keep going, you'll see her. But I just like it because of the way she integrates. And this is actually a shooting game that I can actually play relatively decently at, or first-person shoot relatively decent at compared to some other ones. So, yeah. But yeah, I do recommend this game. I actually like it. People really didn't like BioShock Infinite compared to like the other BioShock games, but if you can get it cheap, like go to a Steam sale, get the game, and you know you can experience it and things like that. Let's see. Bonker says it'll be a triple threat. Liv probably cheap to win, then go to war games. Yeah, uh, like I said, I don't even know who Liv could be faces getting. I mean, if Roxanne wins it, see, I don't think Roxanne will do an immediate cash in. Like if Roxanne gets the Money in the Bank, I don't think she does an immediate cash in. I think they drag that out because of tension. You know what I mean? Like I would not be surprised if Roxanne wins it and then they drag out her having Money in the Bank just to like maybe think about her going after whoever the women's WWE champion is, and then when she looks like she'll go after that champion, she'll change her mind and go after Liv or something like that. Gwendolyn said, "Yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of indie shows coming up, and my energy is directing towards game comment a lot. So unless WWE swerves me, I'm checked out." Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing a bare minimum because this is my channel and I'm dedicated to it. But it's just like it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, this is happening. I can do this, and then, yeah, it's like it's not exciting anymore. Jacob says, "What do you think of GTA 6? I said, "I'm probably getting that for my husband's birthday because it comes out around his birthday." Actually, let me see if I can finish this last piece of the game. Because now that I got a machine, then...
Get over here! Stop!
its biograph. Me. The man pays for exactly 100 pages in advance. Now, I'm half a Jew when I smell silver, so I say, Father, your flock would pay for 1,000. You know, why settle for less? And then the prophet looks to me and says, 100 will suffice, as I know how it ends. Father Comstock called on me today to write its biograph. Me. The man pays for exactly 100 pages in advance. Now, I'm half a Jew when I smell silver, so I say, Father, your flock would pay for 1,000. You know, why settle for less? And then the prophet looks to me and says, 100 will suffice, as I know how it ends.
I gotta go. Okay. I can't play. Okay, so... Gwendolyn says, it releases a day before my birthday. My birthday is November 20th. You know, it's really bad when you get more fun after rewatching Batman and Cobra Kai again than 2026 WWE and Raw. Yeah, pretty much. Like, no problems. Drake says, any words? Not really any words. I think I'm just gonna finish it up. Because I gotta go. But, yeah, I'm gonna go on and shut down the stream. Just to, because I got stuff to do. I am so late. So, I'll be back next Sunday. So, where's my stuff? Let me see. Okay. Those are my receipts going into Monday, and I really hope what I expect section to completely wrong, because I would love to come back after Raw and tell you they surprised me. But we're going to put it on the board now. Monday is what we see actually happens. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens on Monday. I'll be back Monday. If you want to see what I think of what happens on Monday, I have my TikTok live, which I will review what happened on Raw. That's my raw feelings about it. No pun intended. Tuesday is when I put out my YouTube video, and then after that, I will be back either Sunday playing more BioShock Infinite. Veronica, thank you for joining me on Twitch. That's probably my first one on Twitch, even though I'm plugging there. So thank you for joining me there on Twitch. Thank me on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook, because, like I said, TikTok is growing. Y'all, I think I hit almost 1,500 on there, and same thing on YouTube. So, until next time, I'm going to bid y'all all adieu. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Thank you for letting me rant. Thank you for letting me rant about Liv. Please don't take it personally. Fuzzy Ball, thank you for the $10 10 spot for the super chat. I appreciate it, and for subscribing.